Want to actually make money from your offers? First, I'll show you how to plan a successful email marketing campaign. Then I'll show you how to write the emails for a marketing campaign. And finally, I'll show you how to use AI to review those emails as well. Fast, quick, efficient. Now, a campaign is a series of emails, and typically we're using these series of emails during a launch. When you're planning for your launch, you want to take into consideration who your audience is, what the problems are that this offer solves for them, and what they need to do, think, and believe to go from not having bought to having bought. You want to think about the things that have been objections for them in the past. Why wouldn't this work for them? Or why would they not get it? A lot of times when we're looking at objections for a launch, there's time, there's money, but there's also sometimes I tried X, Y, and Z before and it didn't work. This is going to be the same thing. So you want to look at the objections they have. Now, when I'm planning a launch, I want to put into my pre-launch some of the objections I know they already have. So I want to bust them before we even get to talking about the actual offer. So for example, if I know that my audience is really low on time, I'll give them a free resource that shows them how AI can actually speed things up for them, not just in their business, but also in their personal life too. I want to make it an easy yes. So if I can bust that objection of I don't have time by showing them how they can add more time back in, then it makes it easier for them to say yes to the offer later on. Usually when people don't buy, it's because there's an objection they have that hasn't been addressed yet. If you don't know what your audience's objections are, you can go to AI for that. You'll put in information about your audience, who they are, everything that you know about them. If you've had them fill out any kind of form in the past about why they joined your program, you can also put in information about that. If you send emails after a launch that basically say like, hey, why didn't you buy, in a way less aggressive way than that, you can also get information from that and put it in as well and say, okay, last time people didn't buy because of this. Here were the main reasons. And have ChatGPT analyze that so that you can get a more clear picture on what's stopping people from buying from you and what the reason is that people do buy from you. Once we're clear on the objections, the pain points, the questions that people have, and by the way, if you aren't already using some kind of bot to answer those questions, you're really missing out here. Using a bot on your website, on your funnel, helps them answer questions that you probably already put in the sales copy. But let's be honest, a lot of times we don't all of us do this. We don't read the whole sales page, or even if we do read it, other stuff is happening around us. And sometimes we just forget to look through the whole thing. We miss a spot. So having a bot there that can answer their questions also really helps with conversion. Once you've figured out what your objections are, what the reasons that people would buy are, what the FAQs are, then we're going to start planning out your launch. When we're planning the launch, we're going to plan the launch, which is what most people think of when they think of launching, and then also the pre-launch. So the pre-launch emails are going to warm people up. That's where I said we're going to give them some kind of free gift that helps bust an objection, but it also gets them really excited. It helps create buzz and hype and gets them excited to hear what's next. We want to build a kind of anticipation that companies build during Black Friday, where people literally sleep in tents outside the store in excitement of what's coming. They really want that deal, or they really want that offer. And speaking of that, we also want to think of a reason for people to buy now. If there's no reason for people to buy now, many times they'll wait and wait and wait and wait. The problem with that is that if you have a really great offer, something that could actually really help them, and you're saying, they'll get it eventually, you're just delaying their success. If you don't believe that, if you're listening to this and you're like, they can get it whenever and it doesn't really matter, then maybe it's time to look at your offer and say, okay, how can we improve my offer so this is something that's going to have a big impact on them? A while back, I worked with somebody that provided watercolor classes. Now you may be thinking, watercolor classes, they can just take that whenever. There's no real urgency there. How is this helping them? How is this impacting them? But because of their research, because of the data they collected, that company knew that they were helping moms relax, refresh, feel like they could show up as their best self because they were doing something for themselves. Something that didn't take forever, that they could do in 10 minutes, and it had a huge impact on the quality of life for these moms that they were reaching, and also just for their general enjoyment of life. And that is certainly meaningful work. So now that we have all of that figured out, we're going to ask ChatGPT to come up with a plan. We're going to say, I want you to tell me exactly what topics to send out on what days for the pre-launch, and then also for the launch emails. Once you have the topics, the next thing that you're going to do is have it come up with an outline for each topic. And this is how it's going to help us write the emails too. Once we have an outline for each topic, you can either go in and fill in your thoughts on the topic by writing it down, or you can even record your thoughts in a voice memo app, a Loom video, something like that, to be able to get, especially for you external processors, it's really going to help it get out of your head and actually get it onto the computer. Now, once you put out the content, whether that's you wrote it down or you said it out loud, you're going to take that transcript or that content and you're going to put it into ChatGPT ChatGPT, and you're gonna have it write the emails for you. Now, I would recommend having it write one email at a time. If you try to have it write more than that at a time, it gets really funky and not very good. So write one email at a time. After it's written the first email, you're going to have it review. To review, you say something like this: ChatGPT, I want you to review this first email. I'm gonna tell you what I like and don't like. Review it as if you were a professional copywriter. So it's gonna review the email for you. Then you're gonna say what you like and don't like. You wanna be as specific as possible. I like this because, I don't like this because. Give examples of what you would like instead if it's something you don't like. By giving these specific examples, it's much easier for ChatGPT to get on your voice, tone, and style straight from the beginning. Once you've done that first email, and that first email might take a little bit of time to go back and forth on, but once you've gotten that first email, the rest of them are gonna be so much better because you spend the time to review it, you spend the time to give it feedback. It's the same thing as if you're working with a professional copywriter or a human copywriter, is you'll be able to give that feedback, and once you give the feedback, they are more informed on what it is that you want. You wouldn't expect a human copywriter to be able to read your mind. It's the same thing with AI. You can't expect it to read your mind yet, just kidding. But you can't expect it to read your mind, and we wanna give it that feedback. Now, I know that it can take a lot to write emails, to create a launch, to write a launch campaign, and you may want the prompts to help you out. And that's why I created the AI to 10K workshop. This is a totally free workshop for you to attend. You can watch it live or on demand. And not only will I give you the instructions on how to use AI to write emails for your next launch so that you have your best launch yet, you're also gonna get all my prompts too. My name is Brittany Long. Click the link that comes with the video, and I'll see you in the AI to 10K workshop.